Hi, I'm James Dunn. Welcome to the Inside Network. Welcome to INDepth, and joining us today to discuss core, high-conviction global equity investing is Rob Hinchcliffe, Portfolio Manager of the Global Focus Strategy at PineBridge Investments. Your fund takes a bottom-up, fundamental and high-conviction approach to building a global equity portfolio. Can you explain how this strategy works in practice and what advantages it brings in terms of generating alpha and managing risk for long-term investors?
Yes, it's a good question to start with, and I think you framed it the right way too. Global Focus is a core global strategy. The portfolio is designed to give ourselves the opportunity to beat our benchmark, which is MSCI ACWI, regardless of the market environment, using our stock selection alpha tools. From a philosophical perspective, we think stock selection is the most sustainable source of alpha. We don't have an economist or a strategist at PineBridge, so we don't have anyone telling us the way to design our portfolio to be consistent with their view of the market. And I think that's a good thing because those calls are really hard to get right on a consistent basis. So we focus where we have resources to help us add value, which for us is stock selection. And we minimize all the risks that we don't want. So the result is a core portfolio that has a risk profile that's similar to the benchmark. The benefit is a portfolio that's very well behaved relative to the benchmark, which allows us to spend our time monitoring the investments that we have and look for new ideas and not get caught up in the day-to-day volatility of the market.
Rather than relying on traditional sector classifications, PineBridge uses a proprietary life cycle framework. Can you walk us through this framework and why it allows you to uncover opportunities that might be overlooked by conventional strategies?
Yeah, of course. Let me start out by saying that the life cycle framework has been a part of PineBridge dating back to the 1990s, and it's used by all of our equity strategies here. And it was created based on the idea that knowing what sector a company is in doesn't tell you much about the company. Think Tesla and Toyota. They're both car companies, they're both consumer discretionary companies, but they're so different and you can't evaluate them the same way. So how does the life cycle framework work? Recall that Global Focus seeks to beat the benchmark from stock selection. The life cycle framework is a helpful tool that helps us to compare our view of a company to the market's view over time. And importantly, we use this tool to consider which life cycle category a company is in today and where we think it'll be in the future, and then we compare that view to the market's view. That difference of opinion is what we're looking for. Also, because the framework groups companies differently than if we were using sectors, the result is that we tend to uncover companies that are different from other folks in the market. So think of an IT company that maybe is growing more similarly to a mature company like a consumer staples company that might get overlooked by a traditional way of looking at IT companies. That company might not be appealing to them, but to us it might stand out as a great investment. So we tend to have a differentiated portfolio.
The strategy has beaten its benchmark over both short and long-term periods. What would you say are the consistent drivers of that outperformance, and how sustainable is that edge going forward?
So we keep things pretty simple. Our goal is to beat the benchmark through stock selection. And with the help of our global colleagues and a disciplined use of our alpha tools, we've been able to do that through a wide range of market conditions. Now let me break that down a bit. I think it's very important to have conviction about where you can add value and where you can't add value. And the Global Focus team is fortunate to be part of a broader PineBridge equity platform. We have colleagues spread out throughout the world in key markets. They're critical in helping to keep us in the flow of information. We discuss trends, we connect the dots across supply chains. This is a big part of our idea generation. And we have the alpha tools that help us to compare our view to the market's view and evaluate the potential for our investment thesis to develop over time. So to answer your first question, our people, our disciplined use of our alpha tools, and a very clear definition of success are the keys to our track record. On your second question about the sustainability of our edge, to me the answer is about consistency. The lifecycle framework has been in use for almost 30 years. The global focus team has been stable. We've been working together for years and years. And if you look at the broader global team, the average tenure for a portfolio manager is right around 15 years. So same goal, same people, same tools. I think we put ourselves in a good position to have a sustainable opportunity going forward.
Global equities is a crowded space with a wide variety of manager approaches. What, in your view, truly sets your team apart in terms of philosophy, decision-making, and consistency?
So I think you have a bunch of questions there. Philosophy, decision-making, consistency. We're laser focused on beating our benchmark with alpha from stock selection. And our two alpha tools are directly related to this and our ability to uncover stocks that we think the market's underappreciating. And our approach to portfolio construction is directly related to these 2 points and leads to consistency in both performance and how it's delivered. And while the philosophy and tools are unique to PineBridge and Global Focus, it's really our team that sets us apart. That we've been working together for many, many years. Our incentives are consistent with our investment goals. We're all pulling in the same direction. I think that's key to the edge that you asked about.
From a portfolio construction standpoint, how should advisors think in terms of positioning this strategy? What role can it play within a broader global equity sleeve or diversified client portfolio, particularly in the current market environment?
So on positioning, we're a global core strategy. Stock selection is our only alpha source. And you'll note that the use of our alpha tools tends to drive a differentiated set of investments. Our portfolio characteristics and our risk profile are similar to the benchmark, which gives us the opportunity to deliver results that beat the benchmark across many different market environments. So how can the portfolio fit into a broader investor's equity portfolio? We've seen Global Focus used a couple of different ways. Because of the characteristics of the portfolio, it's core, it's well-behaved, it's been used as an index replacement. And it's also been used as a satellite fund by some others because of the alpha generation over time too. So we've seen it been used a couple of different ways.
This has been In Depth with Rob Hinchcliffe, Portfolio Manager of the Global Focus Strategy at PineBridge Investments.